My name's Rob Adams. I've been the mayor of Sedona for the last 6.5 years. Been on city council for 9 years. I have a hard time getting my head around that. I will be leaving office in another 6 days. The countdown has been going on for a while. And it's bittersweet for me. So it's not that I can't wait to get out of office, it's just this term is coming to a close and this chapter of my life as well. Well, again, it's bittersweet, and I was just thinking about that, the emotions that are going on for me. What this job has done is it's brought meaningfulness into my life on a level that I really haven't experienced before. About 20 years ago, when I moved up to the Verde Valley, I made a major transition in my life from focusing on making money and my own personal gains to transitioning into public service. And that filled a part of my soul that had never been filled before. And so that kind of led into this particular form of public service, and I've always been really uncomfortable with the name of politician. I really consider myself to be a public servant. And, so I'm going to miss that. And I'm not sure, how that's going to be replaced in my life, but I'm sure I'll find something. I've met a lot of really good politicians, particularly the mayors that I've met that are serving on the local level. Great bunch of people. The problem is that you almost have to sell your soul as you move up the ladder to get elected, because it takes so much money. And so, you're basically having to make promises to people in order to fund your campaign that I find to be really contrary to the public interest. And so that's why I really don't have any interest in state or federal level services, because of the compromises that you seem to have to make. Even if you were able to fund your own campaign, once you get into office, if you were lucky enough to get into office, the people that you're serving with have made those compromises. So I can't imagine the frustration of trying to do the right thing. You know what? If it wasn't the way it was, I would love to serve at a different level. But I've really enjoyed the local service. I like being around my constituents on a daily basis instead of lobbyists and special interest people. And that's what is really fulfilling to me. So that's what it's about. I get a lot out of this job. The only thing that I've said is, and I've made transitions 7 times in my life into different careers. And I've always left a door open. So if I really missed it, and I wanted to go back, I could. And so I'm leaving that door open, and that's not to be coy. That's just, but I don't have real aspirations right now. The only thing that I've said that I might be interested in is running for county supervisor. So we'll see what happens. I may be just as happy as I can be in a year from now. Yeah. That decision will have been made for me. The first 2 years of my first term was something that I'll probably never forget, because it was a really difficult time. I was seated in May of 2008. The Highway 179 construction started almost simultaneously with that. We were starting the construction on the stormwater and sewer project in the Chapel area. The economy fell off the cliff in August, and the city manager quit in November. So within 6 months after being seated, I was confronted with what I would call a perfect storm. And the challenges that we faced, the city faced at that time were, I don't know if the city's ever faced those challenges, and I hope we never do again. But working through those and the outcome, the 179 highway turned out beautifully. We hired a tremendous new city manager. We have got our budget in alignment and probably in better shape than any other city in the state. You know, we've reduced our debt from 72 million to about 45 million. We've reduced our general fund operating budget by from about 62 million to about 38 million. You know, all that stuff that's stuff that you can hang your hat on and be really proud of. Yeah. Well, Tim was the unanimous choice of the council when we did a national search for a city manager, and fortunately he had served locally in Arizona for all the time that he's been in the business, which is, I think he's been around for about 38 years now in Arizona. And he served, you know, large cities and smaller cities, and we hired him out of Bullhead City. And you know, he's just been incredible. We have the best attitude among our employees that we've ever had. We've made some terrific hires during his term. So he's just been phenomenal, and he certainly has been a wonderful partner and has made me look good too. I think the good thing is that we're leaving behind, you know, again, a strong fiscal position for the city. We have created a community plan update. We've got a Parks Master Plan update, which really gives the council direction for where they need to go in the future. You know, I mean, it's a pretty nice situation to walk into. That doesn't mean there's not going to be challenges, and certainly the council is going to have to deal with things that come up that maybe are unforeseen. But so, you know, I have every hope and expectation that the city's going to move forward and be in good hands. Well, one of the things is, of course, you know, development that comes along and how to make that development as much as we can in alignment with our natural environment. I think that, you know, we still have some major capital projects to do. I would suspect that there's probably $20 million worth of stormwater management that we still need to do. You know, highway repair is always a big one. So, you know, the challenge is going to be, how are you going to fund those hugely expensive projects? And, you know, the council's going to have to wrestle with that. We've been paying for them on pay-as-you-go, cash. Nobody does that, you know. So, you know, the council's going to have to look at, well, are we going to continue these projects? Are we going to, you know, are we going to have to look at bonding, or, you know, what is it? What direction are we going to go with that? So, the dark moments were, again, during the economic downturn when we were doing the Highway 179 construction, and, you know, the businesses were experiencing incredible hardships. And, you know, it was just an ugly time. It was very, very difficult. Ingress, egress, you know, in and out of the city and in and out of the businesses, and people just absolutely going ballistic because they got hung up in traffic. And, you know, that was tough. It was really a tough 2 years. This phone turned red from, you know, some of the phone calls that came in. And, you know, you have to handle those, you know, in a diplomatic way. Don't take stuff personally. And I think that, in a way, I wish I hadn't started out that way. You know, I wish I would have been able to ease into the office a little bit more. But it really made me, you know, get into the office and do what I had to do really quickly. Yeah. Quite frankly, I didn't think that I had the personality to deal with the, you know, with the job. And it's been a huge growing experience for me in order to do that, because it's not about me, it's about, you know, how I represent the community. And that's the first thing that you have to understand very clearly, that any action that you take is going to be a reflection on your community.
So tell me, what does the future hold in store?
Everybody's asked me that, and assuming that, you know, I do have political aspirations or I've got something lined up, and the honest answer is I have intentionally decided that I'm going to not have anything lined up. What I want to do is I want to step out of the job. I want to kind of rediscover myself, because, you know, you do have to take on a mayor's role. And, you know, I need to step out of that role and just take a break. And things always come for me. Things come up. So I'm looking forward to, you know, just kind of taking a nap and looking at the opportunities. We're going to do some traveling. We're planning on a trip to South America the early part of next year. And I need to get a worldly view of things again. You know, I've been in the forest for a long time, and I need to get out of the forest and take a little broader view of the world. Well, I found that the longer that I did this job, the more time that I got isolated into my office, because so much time is spent on the phone and on emails and in meetings here at the city. And really the joy that I have in this job is getting out and talking to people and, you know, interacting and finding out what's going on out there and getting ideas, you know. So I think that'll be good, as just, you know, I get back out in the world again. No parting shots. I just want to really thank everyone for your trust and confidence. Those of you that did have trust and confidence in me, you know, for these years. I've really tried to do my best job for this city, and you know, my intention when I got into the job was to be myself and to make decisions based on what's best for the community, not for my own friends or special interests. And the bottom line was I wanted to leave Sedona a better place than it was when I stepped into the job. And I think that we've accomplished that, and I hope you agree with me.